Yeah, loads. And look, there are obviously certain nutrients. Calcium is overstated. There are other nutrients that are important as well, such as magnesium, manganese, zinc, omega-3s that are indirectly important. There are loads of nutrients that are important in maintaining and building bone density. The most important step in creating bone density, stronger bones, warding off osteoporosis and the like, is reducing the diet-induced acidosis in your body. So when our body has got a net acid load, these are all the terms that are used in the studies on this. And for the people that say, "Ooh, where's the studies?" There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of studies, and particularly on bone density. That was actually the first area of study that started getting funding for trials and for research groups to actually look into the alkaline diet and the impacts of diet-induced acidosis, sometimes called chronic metabolic diet-induced acidosis. We just call it acidic diet. So when your body has, and this is actually a great question because it covers off something else that I was hoping we were going to cover today. It's another one of the myths around living alkaline and something that people often throw at it, which is they say when your blood pH, eating alkaline doesn't make any difference because your body's got all these mechanisms to neutralize acidity and buffer your pH, right? Which is absolutely true. There are loads of processes in the body that are there to absolutely make sure that your body maintains that really tight pH range, particularly of your blood, but lots of other extracellular fluids and areas of every area of the body has got a different pH. But the pH of the blood has to be really tightly regulated at around 7.365 and then loads of other numbers. If it drops even slightly below this, you will die. That's how important it is. And a bit like regulating your temperature and all those other things, your body will do whatever it takes to maintain that pH of around 7.365 of your blood. So critics will say, your body will do that anyway. What you eat makes no difference. What the research and the data and the studies say is it does make a huge difference. Hence why I've been talking about it for over 20 years. So when you consume lots of acid-forming foods and create this condition known as diet-induced acidosis, this is your body going through that process of all these buffering systems from your lungs, your kidney, the bicarbonate-producing mechanisms, and we're going to get onto why this is important for your bones in just a second, Marlene, don't worry. And your body will extract alkaline minerals from other areas of the body in order to buffer your blood pH. It will do this, but there's a range here, 7.365 being optimal, and then there's a little range below that where you're safe, like you won't immediately die, but within this range is where tons of stress is created in the body. It produces loads of inflammation. The acidity starts getting stored. The uric acid, for instance, starts getting stored in various areas of your body. It encourages the production of lots of visceral fat cells because your body's in stress. It goes into fight or flight mode. So when we're in fight or flight, we produce loads of visceral and subcutaneous fat cells. The stress to the body triggers the release of cortisol. Like chronically elevated cortisol is a precursor to so many different conditions like cancer, cardiovascular disease, atherosclerosis, and your body's ability to properly regulate insulin is impaired. So type 2 diabetes becomes far more. And there's tons and tons of studies that, and this is something that I was incredibly nitpicky about and really encouraged my editors to be really like hard on me with this as well in case I missed anything. Every single part of, well, that book, The Alkaline Reset Cleanse, and The Alkaline Life, there are hundreds of references of studies to I guess back up every time where I'm saying you know, like, oh, cortisol, chronically elevated cortisol is a precursor to breast cancer. The reference is there of the study where they discovered this. So there are really, really solid, really strong studies showing all of these, you know, where diet-induced acidosis in higher eating dramatically increases the risk of condition X, whether that be cardiovascular disease or type 2 diabetes or breast cancer or pancreatic cancer or lung cancer. I know a bunch of you have seen the videos I've started putting out in the last couple of weeks. There's been some unbelievable research, clinical trials into using an alkaline diet on top of cancer treatments and how much it's extending the lifespan of the people that are doing this and reducing the risk of cancer returning just by adding an alkaline diet on top of the treatment plan they were already doing. Seeing some incredible research, really, really amazing clinical trials. And so where this comes back to is if you are eating an acidic diet all the time, your body isn't going to get you going through that stressful process and get you back to perfect. It's going to get you into this safe zone, we call it, which is below the optimal. And this is the area that the literature refers to as that chronic diet-induced metabolic acidosis. When you are in that state, your body is constantly pulling alkalinity from wherever it can to buffer the blood pH. The kidneys get super, super stressed by this. The liver gets super stressed by this. Like, there is a question about cholesterol that came in on email, but if you want to regulate your cholesterol, dietary cholesterol is almost irrelevant. It's making sure your liver and your body is in balance is important, but I digress. And then where it comes to osteoporosis and coming back to where the original alkaline studies were all funded, is your body will draw calcium from your bones in order to buffer pH, because having weak bones won't kill you today. Having your pH drop dramatically will kill you instantly. So it will rob from Peter to give to Paul. It will chip away at your long-term health to preserve you in the moment. There are tons of papers on this, but that bone resorption rate, which is your bone is constantly shedding bone material to build new material, is like, there's two factors that go into it. One, are you consuming the alkaline minerals that your bone needs to rebuild, which isn't just calcium. Like I said, it is magnesium and manganese and zinc and potassium and a bunch of other things as well. Are you putting the good stuff in? And is there a net bone loss because of the acidity that's needing to be buffered? So there was a really interesting paper that Harvard School of Public Health put out, which showed that calcium from dairy can actually lead to a net calcium loss in the body. So the amount of calcium going in from the milk or ice cream or cheese or whatever gives you this much calcium, but the acid forming impact of the whatever's in your dairy products, be it, let's just say, reasonably well produced milk, still contains lactose and degalactose and all of these other really acid forming sugars. That drops the blood pH, puts you in that state of diet induced acidosis, requires calcium from the bones to be pulled to neutralize it. It actually leads to a net calcium loss. So dairy overstated in its importance. Calcium is a little bit, you need lots of other stuff as well, and vitamin D is obviously important in this, and exercise is important in all of this as well, like weight bearing exercise. But reducing and removing the acidity is just as important for your bones as adding in the minerals, which all of these minerals are alkaline forming. In fact, it's one of the predominant ways you can tell is a food alkaline forming or acid forming is what is the mineral content of the food. So I do have lots of recipes for this, and what will follow when I send out the replay of this session is what we call show notes, and I will put in some nice recipes for you in there. But there are loads of recipes in the book as well. And if you go, and I'm sorry if there's an error comes up for some of you when I put the link in for the book, but if you go and grab the book, you can you will get loads of bonuses from me, of which will be loads of recipes in there as well, of which there will be lots of bone strengthening recipes. All right, where were we up to?